The competent caring staff of Regency at Whitmore Lake is focused on providing quality, compassionate health care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a comfortable, friendly environment. Their services include, but are not limited to, 24-hour nursing care, subacute rehabilitation, long-term care, hospice and respite care, secured memory care unit, and life enhancement programming, buffet and restaurant-style dining. All right, I'm all ready to go. Anything with food, I'm there. Veterans, and they have a veterans program. They are located at 8633 Main Street, Whitmore Lake. Their phone number is 734-449-4431. They are a Sienna healthcare community. Again, that's Regency at Whitmore Lake. It looks like a beautiful thing. You know, if I only had a camera here, I'd show you a picture of it. It's quite a beautiful looking place. Uh-huh. We are sitting there and talking about the fact that almost half of our nation, or I'd say about half of our nation, is terrified right now of where our nation is going. They're liberal. They want to go in a liberal direction. They see the country taking a turn from that. We even heard a little bit of that in that news break we just had. Mm-hmm. So how do we, as conservatives, communicate to these liberals? Do we mock them? Do we laugh at them? Do we give them a hard time? Do we gloat? Do we use this as a teaching moment? Or do we use this in a way that we can show what true, and I'm going to use this word very carefully here, what true tolerance is? To me, tolerance is being able to be tolerant of the person and disagreeing with their views 100%, right?
Yeah.
And I think I should be able to disagree with their views 100%. The liberal would say if I don't accept their views, I'm wrong and I'm not tolerant.
And that's why there was such concern by you and me about how the direction of the country had turned under Obama.
We're asking the callers to come in and tell us on how you deal with the liberals as a conservative on this point. The number is 734-822-1600. And all right, Phil, put on your seatbelt. Walter is online, and he's going to tell us how he deals with the liberals. How you doing there, Walter?
Yeah, man, I usually cuss them out and repent tomorrow. You know?
Can I say here and say that might not be the best route to take, but that's just my opinion.
Hey, I used to word repenting, so I got to have a little fear of God. I mean, I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's get to the point. It's amazing to me how these phony liberals, I guess I'm getting started on the wrong foot already, huh? These phony liberals, and I do mean phony and contradictory, can talk about how they're going to hold Donald Trump to a high standard. We're going to hold his feet to the fire. That's all you hear coming from them clowns every day. We're going to do this. And I want to communicate with them is tell them, let me tell you something. You guys are 8 years late, and you're referring to the wrong person.
All right.
You were fearful. You should have been fearful for if you wasn't fearful for the last 8 years under Barack Obama, what makes you think life is going to be a lot worse with Donald Trump? And by the way, the liberals are good for calling good evil and evil good, and God Satan and Satan God.
Yep.
They have an ideology. We can try as much as possible, like Romans 12 says, as much as possible, live at peace with all people. As much you have all the strength you have in you as a Christian. But what Jesus was saying in so many words, some of these people, you ain't going to have no peace with them, no matter how nice you be to them, no matter how much knowledge you give them and wisdom and try to instruct them on how, where the Republicans stand versus the Democrats.
Walter,
and they still going to reject you.
I agree with you, Walter. Thanks. I agree with Walter on this. In this way, is that we may not convince them. But what I don't want to be is I do not want the conservatives to turn into what the liberals were for the last 8 years of saying, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong, and I'm not going to be tolerant of you at all because you disagree with me. I don't want to be that group of people. I want conservatives to sit there and say, no, I believe in tolerance means I can be tolerant of you and disagree of your opinion, no matter how wrong I think it is, no matter how stupid I think you are, I will fight for your right to have that stupid, idiotic opinion.
Yeah, the conservatives have always taken out their wrath on the people that are in their party. They have very little desire to go after the Democrats like they went after us for they call us racist, they call us all kind of names.
Walter, I want to thank you for your call, but we got a full board. I want to get to some more of these calls. Thanks for calling, Walter. It's always a good call. Jenny on line 3. How are you doing, Jenny?
Hey, gentlemen.
How are you doing,
How you doing? How's both of you?
Good afternoon.
Good. You on the basic political stuff, you can't even talk to these people, but there's one common ground that I have found that you can actually talk to some of these folks, and that is the stupid violence that's going on at the moment and has gone on in Ferguson and stuff. The destroying of property for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, even some of my liberal friends, they can agree that is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so that's one way to find out what areas in common you have. So there's another approach. Mine is to educate them on what I feel they're getting wrong. You're saying, hey, let's talk about what we have in common, and maybe we can build it on a relationship from there on. Mm-hmm.
Right, because you can't educate them about, it's just like I wouldn't want them to try to change me. So I'm not going to try to, you can't change them. Most of my friends are too old. We're set.
What are you saying about me, Jenny? Hey, thanks a lot for your call, Jenny. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Line 2, Paul. Paul, you want to talk about liberals and guns. I hope it's in a good sense. Watch where you aim that. Watch where you aim that finger. It's got a nail in it.
I do.
Okay. Liberals and guns. What you got, Paul?
Hi, Pastor Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great. Yeah, I had a couple things to say. First of all, you got a great show. I consider myself a FOT, friend of Theron.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first call to any radio show ever.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Ever. So be gentle with me, okay?
Okay.
So here's the thing.
Quick, hang up on him. No.
We all have the same experience, and I think some of the other callers have been right on the money. We can't become what they are. We have to be compassionate. You have to have understanding, and you have to take the time to talk to people who really want to have a conversation. If people want to preach to you, no disrespect, then that's a different story. But I tell all my liberal acquaintances and friends that are now talking about purchasing firearms, I said, you got to understand something. This is a responsibility. The same thing I told my children as they were growing up and now they're adults, that this is a tool, this is a thing, but you're responsible for it.
Yep.
And you have to learn about what you're getting into. This is not a toy. This is not something that you approach casually.
Good lesson to learn.
Emphatically.
All right, thanks. Hey, Paul, you did great on your first call. Now, don't be a stranger. Call back often.
Well, I'm a big email kind of electronic person, but anyway, I'm enjoying the show. Please keep on keeping on, and thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, thank you. All right,
Bye-bye.
We now have Bob. Oh, no. First of all, Bob spells his name backwards. Second of all, he wants to talk about Valentine's Day. I thought I was through that with that ad. Valentine's Day was created by evil people that hate men. But Bob, I will give you 2 seconds to prove me wrong, and then I'll tell you how wrong you are. Unless you agree with me, then you're 100% right. How's it going, Bob?
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, a long time ago, the Catholic Church was deciding what young men could or couldn't get married. And one day, this monk, St. Valentinus, decided, screw the church, I'm going to marry anybody who wants to get married. He was later executed, and that's the basis of Valentine's Day.
Oh, so instead of sending flowers and candy, we should kill someone. Got it. I like it better.
I think he spelled his name backwards too, didn't he?
No. No, I'm one of these people that if you ask my wife, she'll tell you, "Oh, my husband loves Valentine's Day. He always does great things." Why? Because, well, my wife scares me. And so I make sure I do something nice. But I'm telling you, Valentine's Day has turned into a Hallmark holiday. It's designed to destroy men. It is. That's just my point of view, and if you don't like it,
I think I think before they destroy them, they get them trained. You ever see a guy at the shopping with the wife? You know, he's sitting over in the corner letting her. So that's the forerunner right there. St. Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you know, there used to be a thing in sports called a loser's limp, and Derek Stone might know what I'm talking about. You know, if they make a play and it didn't look right, all of a sudden he gets up for no reason. He's limping off the field. It's called a loser's limp, right?
Yeah.
It does something. I develop a loser's limp the second my wife says, "Let's go shopping." Oh, my leg! I can't go. I'm crippled. I twisted my leg in that last tackle. What tackle? You're sitting there watching football. Yeah, but I still twisted it. I can't go shopping. Oh, I hate shopping.
Oh, man.
Hey, we got 15 minutes left. If you want to get in on the phone calls, what do you do to help the liberals get over their fear? Do you help them get over their fear? Or do you mock them and point at them and laugh at them for being frightened? Or do you take a more compassionate view, use it as a point of education? Or do you find, as Jenny said, find something in common in which that you can build on?
What was that you said about compassion? You know, when George Bush said he was a compassionate conservative?
I think being conservative is by absolute default is compassionate, and to put George Bush's compromise on being compassion is wrong, because what George Bush had in mind in compassion was become more socialist in your views as a republic, and I will disagree with George Bush on his compassionate conservatism all day long.
Because conservatism, as you said, is the compassion.
It is compassion, and again, in my view of how we deal with half the nation that is now terrified, we don't sit there and just shut them out like we have been for the last 8 years. Take a look. We as conservatives have been shut out by the media.
Yep.
We've been shut out by the political system. We've been shut out completely, and just in society itself.
Yeah.
You talk to people, and they find out you're conservative. They get mad at you. I was sitting outside back when I had a convertible at the time, and I was listening to a conservative radio station, and this little old lady walks up to me. I mean, she looks sweet as could be. And she walks up to me, and she looks right at me, and she wrinkles up her nose, and she says, "You're not one of those conservatives, are you?"
Wow.
And I, without missing a beat, said, "Can you really save 15% or more with Geico?" And she just, went stomping off as fast as she could with her walker with little tennis balls at the end of it. But yeah, you just get the hostility of society around you as a conservative. And this is how we as conservatives were treated for the last 8 years.
And it's not very good feeling, because we've got great ideas.
Right.
And the media didn't want to hear them. The Obama administration didn't want to hear them. But now what is it? Now that he's in power, what are they saying? Well, give us your ideas. Tell us what you're going to do. You know,
we've been giving ideas for health care for the last 8 years. They wouldn't listen to them.
Listen. And then turn around and said that they didn't listen because we didn't have a plan.
Now, human nature would sit there and say, well, do to them like they did to us. That would be typical human nature. You did that for the last 8 years. Now it's our turn.
Yeah.
But doesn't that look at the division that's happened in this nation? How many times have you called President Obama the divider in chief?
Many times.
Many times. I don't think you could count how many times you refer to him as the divider in chief. And the fact is under his administration, we have become so polarized as a people. We haven't been this polarized since the 1860s, during the time just before the Civil War.
And if you remember, the big word out of Obama's mouth on any of the deals was, you guys got to compromise. It was always the left that said that the right has to compromise.
And it's always amazing what they mean by compromise. I think we should have bought them a dictionary so they could look up a dictionary and see what that word compromise actually means. It doesn't mean do things our ways or get out of the way, which is pretty much what Obama said when he says elections have consequences.
Yes, exactly right.
He let us know that compromising was done. Yeah. So I'm not saying that the the Republicans should, in office, not do what they were elected to do. I think the conservatives in there need to do exactly what they were elected for. But I think we as a people need to open up conversations and not polarize this nation any further. We should not be the party of division. In which case, we can open up and say, hey, you really want to know why it went the way it did? We're happy to talk to you. I'm not going to yell at you for being an idiot by being a